Hi, it's me, Facecam Jeremy. Today we're looking at this, the Crum Drum. The Crum Drum. It's called the Crum Drum. And I just got this in, and it's really fun. And since I'm working on a bunch of really big videos, I thought I'd just do a little fun, small video where we took a look at the Crum Drum and had some fun with it. So that's what we're doing. What the hell is this? Well, let me hit play. By the way, just so you know what's going on here, Crum Drum is running into the Syntact. We'll be using the Syntact later for drums and other stuff. The MIDI drum here, midronome, Jesus Christ. Between Crum Drum and this, I'm not going to be able to say like anything correctly today. The midronome, which is this cool little box that sends out MIDI and clock, is sending MIDI to the Syntact and then analog clock into the Crum Drum here. Cool thing about this is, and I'll show you this later, is I can just instantly divide the clock or multiply the clock in here, right here, to get like a different speed from the Crum Drum. Anyways, let me hit play and we'll talk about what's going on here. So what's going on here? It's a generative groove box. It's taking a clock in. It doesn't need a clock, obviously. It's got a BPM slider right here. When a clock's going in, it works as a divider. So I'll turn on a kick drum and you can hear. All right. So there's our little metronome over here. So it's fun, right? It's already sounding pretty fun. There are 4 instruments: the bass drum, the snare drum, the hi-hat, and the like a little melodic / bass instrument right here. And we can control all of them at once if all these instruments are lit like this versus like this, where we select a single instrument. Then over here on the right, we can control all of it at once. So for instance, like decay, tone, which is different for everything. We're going to go through every single one of these instruments so you can hear what it sounds like. Frequency, which is the bass frequency of every instrument. This is how you would tune your melodic instrument. Volume, when the whole kit and caboodle here is selected, volume is the overall volume of the Crum Drum. And then you can select individual instruments and change their volume individually, which is really great. I wish these were buttons so that I could, as opposed to using this thing, so I could just like press and change. This is a little tedious, but it's not the end of the world. Filter, sort of a DJ filter, but it doesn't really work exactly like I would expect sometimes. Over on the left, it's like a low pass, and then it's supposed to be a high pass over here, I think, but it doesn't sound like it's high passing anything. Probability. So, is how often or how probable is there a thing that will hit? So, there is full 16th notes. And if I turn this down, we get this sort of like little groove. Now that groove's like length is dictated over here by steps. So this is 16 steps. Turn random down. So you can hear that little groove. Random introduces randomization of some of these parameters to the thing, and it's how we get a melodic sort of sequence out of bass, but at this moment we're not doing that, so we'll just leave this down. But we got 16 steps, 32 steps. You can hear it repeat now. And weirdly, like 24 steps, I guess, for like maybe like polymetric things. Let's leave it at 16 for right now. Again, when like all of these are lit, when I don't have a single instrument selected, if I hold down beat, it creates a new pattern. So it's kind of like a touring machine going on in there, and holding this down will kind of create new parameters for the whole thing. Turn random up. I'm already having fun. I think it's great. Okay, clock divider here, play button so I can play and stop this. So funky. We have drive. These are not available per instance. I kind of wish they were. That'd be really cool, but they're not. Reverb. Weirdly, the reverb is mono, but the delay is not. I don't know why. I've been playing with this a whole bunch, and like I really love it. And this is why I'm doing a video on it. But like, I already want like a Crum Drum Pro because there's a whole bunch of little things that I would like to change about the Crum Drum. And that reverb being mono is one of them. It seems like a missed opportunity. The buttons here would be another one. We also have swing, which is great. I love being able to add that funky little swing. You know what this actually reminds me a lot of? There's a lot of aspects of this that remind me of the Tim Exile Scape Shift, which is a insane reactor patch that he put out a few months ago. And it just generates music. I've been using it a lot for background music in my videos for YouTube. It's really, really fun. And this reminds me of it a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, so let's dive into each instrument. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start with the bass sound over here on the right. So I'm going to turn everything else down by selecting the instrument and turning it down. You can see the LED jump. Okay, great. There's a little friend. Isn't that great? Now, this is not quantized, the frequency for this. It'd be cool if it was, or there was an option for it. As it is, if I want to match the pitch of this to an external instrument, it's kind of like, good luck, this is pretty sensitive, and then you'd have to also find a pitch that matched it over here. So it's not the greatest system in the world, but it's fun enough. It's fun. Okay, so this little bass sound, if we turn up the random and the probability, weird, I can still hear the other instruments a little bit. We go over here and turn random down for everything. That might help. It's probably a little leakage. Okay, so you can hear we got a little melodic sequence. Obviously, this is the bass frequency for that. And then random is how much pitch variation we get. And there are 3 options for your pitch stuff. Pentatonic, I believe this is pentatonic. Sounds pentatonic. Octaves. And major. So it's kind of fun, right? I'll keep it in pentatonic for right now. So random is how much variation we get. Now, that is a 32-bar loop. So the random part of this is actually adhering to the step amount, which is great. So you actually do get a little bit of actual musicality out of this thing. Probability, we already determined is an event going to happen? Obviously, all the way on the right is full whatever the clock is. And then you can kind of get these little grooves out of it, which is kind of fun. Oop, decay. Volume. Okay, tone. Tone is interesting. So this is a little tiny FM voice, and there are 3 distinct FM processes that you can go through. So you'll hear what I mean. As I turn this, you're going to hear the FM distortion kind of kick in. Very classic FM. You can also hear how random has an effect on the envelope too, which is a little strange. Now as I keep going, it gets more FM, and then eventually it switches. So this is the second FM process. It's very early morning on Sunday. I just decided to get up and do this, and we just bombed Iran, so I'm not, my brain's not 100% in this, but I just wanted to do something to try to decouple from stuff. Okay, I like this one a lot. It's very mellow. And then, of course, we can get a little bit more aggressive. This third one has a little bit of hua to it. A little bit of hua at the beginning. Hua. So there's a lot of, well, actually not a lot of variation. It sounds like 2 op FM to me, so it's not really that crazy. Filter, low pass, and then again, not high pass. I don't know what the fuck is supposed to be going on there. Cool, so that's our bass voice. We can go really high and then turn up our delays and get a pretty little voice there. And if you're running it through something like this, you can run it through more effects. A very long delay we have there. Another thing that would make this really cool in the Crum Drum Pro would be an octave switch for the instruments. Because it'd be nice to be able to just drop this up and down octaves without completely messing up the pitch. If you need to tune this to something, basically turn random down. And that's your pitch. So if I come over here, turn this up so we can actually hear it. And let's pick, Swarm is fun. So it's somewhere between these two notes. So I can go to my keyboard. It's E. There we go. So we managed to tune. But imagine doing that live. You know, it's not great. So like a little preset system on this would also be fine. You know, I wouldn't hate that. So you can hear already, like, just that little sequence on top, little ostinato kind of thing going on, that we can have some fun with it, which is great. Okay, so I'm going to turn that down for right now. Let's go to the hi-hat instrument. So turn this back a little bit. Go ahead and turn off our effects over here. Boom, 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 chop, boom. Okay, up. Got to make sure my aesthetic stays straight. Oh, come on, little Crum Drum. Okay, hi-hat. So same stuff applies over here. Probability up. We can hear it constantly. Well, it should be constant. Sounds like it actually still has a little bit of randomness going on. So we have tone. Sounds like it's more tuned over here, and then noise over here. Decay. Filter. I guess this kind of sounds like a high pass a little bit. I don't know. And then frequency. Oh no, my aesthetic. You get those really terrible metallic hi-hats that the Syntax is so good at. But with everything besides the bass sound, this is like 3 different flavors of whatever the instrument is. So you can hear this one sort of noise-based. Or I guess not, no. Just like slightly different. You know what it reminds me of is, which I don't have one. If anyone wants to send me one, hey, Soma, if you're listening, the Soma Terra, which has like a bunch of like sort of pre-built, a lot of them being like FM engines built into it. And you kind of like select an engine and play with it. Kind of reminds me of that. And then you just pick one, and if you like it, you like it. And then you kind of dial it in. We do have probability. We can get a 16 step. Now, when you turn up random for this, and I wish this was different, honestly, I would like the random to adhere to the step length. So if it's 32 steps, create a random sequence that's 32 steps. Because, you know, if I hold down beat, I do get like a new concept of a pattern, like a new random seed. But because it's constantly random, we lose groove. We lose the concept of like an inherent groove. And, you know, I can understand that at very small amounts, like of random, just to give a little bit of variation, but not a big amount. So I would rather have like a sequence kind of like lock in that I can then hold beat and change parts of. But it is what it is. Okay, so that's our hi-hat. Turn that down. Instrument next up is the snare. Now this one's frustrating because unlike like Mutable Instruments grids, where Emily made a series of sort of rhythm maps that would be appropriate for snare, that has nothing to do with what a snare should do in here. So you're going to hear this snare instrument kind of just spam all over the place, as opposed to having it weighted towards like any form of like snare pattern. And in that case, I think I would prefer to hear this like either be pushed more towards like a snare, or give me another weird instrument, like a percussion instrument. Because if it's not going to act as a snare, what's the fucking point? So again, we have 3 different flavors of the snare. Tone usually goes from like tonal to noise. That's kind of fun. Yeah. And then third. Almost sounds like a snare. So you can hold beat until you get a pattern that you like, but oh no, it is per instrument, right? So I didn't change the other instruments, which is great. So if I turn this up, I think that's what we had before. You'll only change all of them if you have it all selected like this. So that's kind of fun, right? You could go and spam a new pattern. Now again, this would be so much better if these were buttons, but I don't know. Maybe I'm judging the Crum Drum far too harshly for what it is. I just have strong opinions about how my Crum Drum should work. Okay, turn this down. Go back to bass drum here. Okay, so let's get this bass drum going. That's kind of nice, right? Almost sounds like a bass line. Let's go ahead and play around. So we're on type 1. That's not bad. Random being locked into like some form of sequence would really be great for this bass drum. So that's type 1. Type 2. Whoa. Not bad, not bad. So this is another situation where I really wish I had drive that I could individually apply to one instrument because, well, it sounds good. So if we want to fuck with everything at once, we go back to instrument here, turn it up. We should at least. Oh no, it doesn't do that. That's right, it acts a little differently. So I actually have to go and turn everything up individually. I'm a big dumbass. There we go. Okay, cool. So if I hold down beat, I can just continually generate new patterns. And play around. Oh, that's fun. Ooh. That's great. So there's all these weird little grooves. I'm going to turn up a sidechain here. I like that. All right, let's record. Let's jam, I guess, a little bit. Record some stuff over here and jam. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, fun, right? I think it's fun as heck. If it was like, again, give us the Crum Drum Pro, make it twice as big, put it in a real case, and give it just a bit more hands-on control, and you've got yourself a banger of a little group box here. How much time I've been recording? Not even 30 minutes yet. I got more I can do. All right, let's show you how I can turn this down. Clock divider. Triplets. I haven't really gotten a chance to show off the metronome a whole bunch, and I'm glad this was an opportunity to. Getting this Crum Drum, you can see here that it's got power and MIDI through a, what do you call it, a USB? It's micro USB, ew, because there's like a teensy in here. Let's see, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, there's like a serious ground noise problem if you plug it into something that's like attached to, well, it has grounding problems. I tried a whole bunch of different stuff to get clean sound out of it. Eventually I had to plug this into a power strip over there. I could not plug it into my computer, or else I got like nasty like USB ground hum, even with this little thing on. So in the end, I pulled out the metronome and just clocked it from here because you know, there's no MIDI in except for this, and there's no like 3.5 millimeter MIDI. So again, it's just like, it's fun. I bought it on a lark because I thought it sounded neat, but it's like, I just wish designers sometimes would like take that extra step, you know, just go a little bit further and make it like a little bit more professional, as opposed to just kind of like, here's an idea, and it's kind of like spit out with the least possible polish we can get. Bass line going on. Yeah. That's fun. definitely a fun way to waste some time. I think that's my big takeaway from the Crum Drum is that it's just fun to play around with. Could be funner. I don't know, manufacturer of the Crum Drum, if you're listening. I've got a lot of Crum Drum thoughts. I would like to help you improve your Crum Drum. I'm sure I'm not alienating you at all by calling your product the Crum Drum. So yeah, that's it. It does have the ability to be triggered individually with MIDI, meaning you can send it MIDI, I believe, and address the individual things themselves. There's something about CV with it as well, and I don't remember what it is, but you can check the manual. I think it's pretty fun. Yeah, maybe pick one up used or something. I don't mean that. Pick one up new if you want, but like, it is, or I think it's around $300. I think that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. It's been fun. I've got some big videos planned coming up. I've got some on sort of very fundamental concept of music that I wanted to like look into. So those are taking a long time because there are a lot of research and stuff like that and a lot of editing, but I am excited to bring those to you. It just takes a long time. So I'll be doing some of these videos where I just kind of like chill out. I'm so sorry. I've eaten too much Crum Drum. And then I'll have some intermediate videos where it's maybe not quite as, deep and dive intensive to the music theory or historical videos. But yeah, well, as usual, just a big variety of stuff on this here channel. And thank you for sticking with me. It's been a blast. Take care of each other. Find ways to help each other right now. All the time, honestly, but especially right now. And that's it for me. Bye. My name is Jeremy. This is Red Beans Recording. Take care of yourselves. Mwah. Smooch. Mwah. Smooches. Bye.